So you've made a branding project. Awesome. But now what? How do you transition that client into an ongoing relationship with problems that they probably genuinely have as a new business and help continue to grow your business too? That is the question. And sometimes it can feel kind of sleazy, like you're inventing all of these add-ons to upsell someone all of the time, like you're a used car salesman asking someone about their extended warranty. Instead of feeling like you're manufacturing sales from thin air all of the time, here are 17 different ideas for things you can offer to current clients that help them build out their brands, tackle problems that they actually have, and keep the relationship going. Real quick, if we're just meeting, I'm Janelle. I've been a freelance graphic designer for over 15 years, and I have made every possible mistake on my way to building a creative business, and I want to help other people get there a little bit faster with a little bit less heartburn. So if that sounds like your bag, hit the subscribe button because I would really love to hang out again. First off, I am not suggesting that you do all of these. This list can feel a little bit overwhelming, and I don't want it to feel like homework. But it can be helpful sometimes to spark some fresh ideas about things that you might have forgotten about or not thought to offer, but are connected to things that you already do. You should only offer things you're actually excited by, but I hope this gives you some fresh inspiration. Secondly, don't forget that you can outsource. The beauty of freelancing is that you can collaborate with other creatives. If anything on this list feels like something that would be genuinely useful to your ideal customer, but isn't something that you either know how to do or want to be tackling, that is the perfect time to partner up with another creative or subcontract out work. This can look like finding someone who does that work and then creating a referral relationship where you send them over clients. Or it can mean subcontracting with someone. So you are working with the client, you find someone who is working on the project, and you're kind of the go-between that handles all of the flow of information. This is good for the subcontractor because it means that they can just focus on the work and not have to deal with clients. And the client has a really streamlined process. You're not cheating, you're actually providing a real benefit to both people. Either of these work depending on the job, and it can be really helpful just to know that those are options so that it doesn't just feel like more work that you have to somehow tackle. Okay, so this list basically breaks into two different categories. The first is that you can offer setup services for the next step in their new business. So if you've helped a new entity make a brand, there's probably a lot of other things that they're also going to need. So you're continuing to offer other aspects of the build-out process to help make that more cohesive for them. Clients love it because they're working with one person, you're providing genuine solutions for things that they're going to need anyway, and you already have a feel of who they are, you have their branding on deck, and you can incorporate all of those things into one package. When you're working with small businesses and entrepreneurs, people just don't have time. So the more that you can solve problems and make things easy or simple for them, the more grateful they're going to be and the more willing they are to pay for it. So here are some ideas in this bucket. You can make an animated version of the logo that you just made for them. This is great because they probably want to have a brand launch to announce their new shiny graphics, and this would give them a really nice thing to post. They probably have social media channels where they want some sort of motion, or maybe they want to do a YouTube channel for their business, and now you have their intro graphic for them. This is a really natural thing to offer, and even if you don't do motion, this is an easy thing that you can subcontract. It's a nice add-on to any logo. The next step is obviously social media templates. You can build out a suite of templates in Canva using the brand that you've just created so that they can drag and drop easily into any social media platforms that they use. This is a no-brainer. The next step to that is social media training and operations. Help them create a social strategy so they don't just have the templates and graphics, but an idea of what their content buckets are and how they're going to be using their brand in social media. A lot of business owners feel completely overwhelmed with this, and the more that you can help them apply the work that you just made into a real strategy, that's a real value. The flip side of that is most businesses also need some sort of informational systems or content management systems. There are so many great apps like Notion and ClickUp and Trello that are designed to help businesses organize all of the stuff, the legal stuff, to-do lists, planning, content management, contacts, all of that stuff. And setting those things up can also feel a little bit overwhelming. You can help offer that as a service. If you've been around for a minute, you know that I love Notion, and I've created a whole small business Notion database that I offer to clients to help them set up their systems easily right from the get-go. It's not a fit for every client, but a lot of the people that I work with also need easy ways to get organized, and I can offer that as part of my whole package. An adjacent thing that every business needs is a CRM system, which stands for Contact Rights Management. Basically, it means you need to manage all of your mailing list and you probably need a newsletter template to send out to those people. Again, there are so many companies like MailChimp and Flowdesk and ConvertKit that are designed to help small businesses organize all of their mailing lists and be able to send out newsletters and emails. But setting those things up can feel overwhelming, especially because they have to make visual templates that match their brand. So that's something that you could offer. Hey, I've made this great brand for you. Do you want me to set up a weekly newsletter template for you in your chosen software so that you're ready to go as you start working with clients? You've just tackled a problem for them. That's a pretty easy yes. Similarly, if they're going to get a Canva Pro account to manage all of the graphics that you've made for them easily, you can offer to set up their brand kit for them within Canva. This is a really nice service because it means you're going to take a little bit of time to load in all of the graphics and fonts and colors and any templates that you've made for them so that then they can really easily hit the ground running applying all of the brand that you've made. Not only does it make it easier for them because you're going to hold their hand a little bit to teach them how to use it, but they have a better chance of actually sticking to your brand guidelines if you make it really easy for them to apply what you've just made. This is a no-brainer add-on. The last three in this category are a little bit more niche and won't apply to every business, but if you're working with a client that could genuinely use these services, it's a real gift to be able to say, hey, I'll also do this for you. One is creating video assets if they want to have a YouTube channel or short form content, or if they want to be doing courses. Even if you don't want to offer video editing, offering a setup pack with an intro graphic and slides and lower thirds that any video editor can use and stay within their brand guidelines is a really nice little service if you know that they want to be doing video. Another one is setting up a private community or a course creation setup if they're wanting to offer those kinds of things through a service like Kajabi or Circle. If you know they're going to want to be making content or working with their membership in some way, offering to set those up visually for them is, again, a really nice offering. The last in this category is app design. I know that can seem a little overwhelming, but even small businesses can really use some version of an app to manage orders or buy products. Even a small coffee shop can have an app to be able to purchase and deliver. There's a lot of software that has made this a lot simpler, or you could subcontract it. Either way, this can be something that is a real value add depending on the business. So that was my list in the setup services bucket. The second bucket are additional design or print services that a lot of companies are going to need. A big line item that a lot of more corporate companies need is an annual report. This is actually a fairly hefty design item. If you're not familiar with this concept, a lot of larger companies or people that need to report to shareholders or investors make a book every year of how the company did in that last year. It could be a few pages or it could be like an 80-page booklet. They're usually pretty info-dense and they have a lot of content and numbers that you have to get through, which means infographics and data visualization, which can be a ton of fun. I've actually made a few of these over the years for different clients, and I have a blast making them. It can be a pretty sizable add-on and something that is a real asset that they're going to need. And by working with the designer who made their original brand, they can guarantee that everything's going to feel cohesive and part of their brand guidelines. It's kind of a slam dunk. A more general thing that a lot of businesses need is print collateral. That's a fancy design term for business cards, letterhead, envelopes, the physical things that list out your business and that you hand over to someone. Even in a very digital age, a lot of businesses need letterhead and certainly a business card. You might include this as part of your branding package, or this might be an add-on if they actually need it. Not every business will, but the ones that do definitely do. Another no-brainer offering are marketing materials and brochures. Anything that the company needs to advertise their business. This might be physical materials like a brochure or a leaflet, a poster or a sticker, anything that helps them advertise their business physically, or it could be digital advertising. Either way, a lot of companies and a lot of fields need marketing materials, and most people would rather work with the person that they just worked with. It's kind of a no-brainer offering and an extension of what you've already given them. Sometimes they might not think to ask you because they might not know that you're willing to do a brochure for them. But if you can list that as something that you can give, it's not an upsell, you're just offering them something that could be useful. In the same vein, merchandise design or swag is something that a lot of companies need even if they're not in like a product-based business. A lot of companies want to have a t-shirt or a tote bag or to give a mug with their logo on it for their Christmas present. Even if it's not a packaging-heavy company, This could be something that could be really useful as an offering for people. Another thing that might not be super top of mind, but is something that a lot of small companies need, is employee onboarding and HR packets. Any sort of information-heavy design that they're going to need to produce is something that you can help them with. It might not be the most glamorous offering, but there's a lot of stuff that a lot of companies need to keep filling out. The more that you can help them think about those things and solve problems for them as they come up, the more you become their go-to visual person, which is kind of great. The last three are a little bit more niche again, but when they pop up, they can be really useful. One is wholesale assets. Any company that is actually selling products has a whole bunch of needs beyond just the website and the thing that they give to customers. If they want to wholesale, they're probably going to go to trade shows. That means designing giant booth graphics for their trade show booth. That can be really fun. There's also things like catalogs and tags and all of that kind of stuff that need to be designed in any kind of product-based wholesale business. That's a lot of other things that might not be totally top of mind. Additionally, maybe they have a catalog or need product photography for their pieces. If this is something that interests you, offering product photography and then laying out a catalog with all of the info design in-house is a huge asset that you can offer. That means that's one less person that they need to deal with, and you can keep the look and feel of everything consistent. Not every designer is going to want to also be a photographer, but if that interests you, that's a really specific niche that you can offer for any product-based company. The last one is environmental design. If they're any physically based company, they're going to need signage, wayfinding, menus or information, logos on their uniforms, any kind of things that are about creating their business in a physical space, whether that's in an office or in a storefront, are all things that need to be designed. If they know that you're also willing to continue the relationship to design those things, that keeps things going on a much larger scale and can be something that can be really fun to work on. All right, so those were 17 ideas for pretty natural add-ons that just feel like good extensions of the thing that you've already done. It can be really handy when you're talking to a client about additional ideas that you could offer them to show visual examples of work that you've done in the past that is pretty similar to what you could do for them. So if you haven't made a lot of annual reports or environmental graphics, but you want to, it can be really smart to do a passion project where you have the chance to make some of that stuff so you can show it to clients in the future. In this video, I give a bunch of out-of-the-box ideas for passion projects that you can use to fill out your portfolio. So if you're a little bit stuck on what to make to show off this stuff, go watch that video next. It could give you some good ideas. See you there.